Welcome to another ReZero theory. This theory will contain spoilers, so this is a warning for you guys. Also, if you watch my videos but you haven't yet subscribed, feel free to help my channel out and subscribe, as I've noticed that 95% of you that watch my videos haven't subscribed. But anyways, let's get into the video. So most people that have watched the anime and then transitioned into the light novel and web novel might be wondering what exactly the Shadow Garden is. Well, to explain it, first imagine a dark space that Subaru enters when he states that he can return by death. This is where Satella resides. In fact, in Season 1, you can see Satella appear when Subaru states he can return by death. The Shadow Garden is a more vivid version of this, which occurs normally when Subaru dies or is unconscious. Unfortunately, the first Shadow Garden was cut entirely in the anime. The first Shadow Garden is after the events of episode 23 of Season 1. After Julius Mercy kills Subaru, Subaru enters it fully for the first time. There's a lot of info dumped during this, so you may need to pause the video if you would like to read the images I put on screen. When Subaru enters the Shadow Garden, he realizes he's a ball of consciousness. He has no arms, no legs, no body, no head, no mouth. He then sees Satella, who he feels overwhelming love for. He then goes on to wish that he had the things he was missing. He wanted arms and hands so he could embrace Satella and touch her, legs so he could move closer to her, a mouth so he could call out her name. This love unfortunately manifested as sins, each representing one of the 7 deadly sins. Again, I highly recommend you pause the video to read this section. These sins manifest due to Subaru's desires, and after Subaru is ejected from the garden. When Subaru does leave, he states that one day he will take Satella's hand. Subaru then enters the Shadow Garden a second time during Arc 6 on his way to the Watchtower. Inside the Shadow Garden, his consciousness picks up 2 people. He realizes that Beetlejuice, the Sin Archbishop of Sloth, and Regulus Corneus, the Sin Archbishop of Greed, are present inside the Shadow Garden alongside him. Beetlejuice and Regulus start berating Subaru for being slothful and for being imperfect. Regulus states that he's unhappy to have to serve Subaru due to these imperfections, and states that he's being humiliated again. Subaru is unable to respond due to lacking a mouth. However, Subaru is more complete than the first time he entered the Shadow Garden. Subaru turns around and sees Satella. Unfortunately, he's unable to say anything due to lacking a mouth, but he says the next time he comes back, he'll make sure to create one, and then he's promptly ejected from the Shadow Garden. So what's the theory? Well, the sins represent different body parts, and as Subaru kills the archbishops and absorbs their witch factors, he will become more complete inside the Shadow Garden. Also, keep in mind, Arc 6 is based around the Sin Archbishop of Gluttony, which are known for their eating. And what does he wish for? He wishes for a tongue and mouth. So if he kills Gluttony and obtains their witch factor, I bet you any money in the next Shadow Garden, Subaru will have a mouth. The reason why Beetlejuice, the Sin Archbishop of Sloth, Regulus, the Sin Archbishop of Greed, and the Witch of Envy are present inside the Shadow Garden is because Subaru has their witch factors. And as we know, Beetlejuice and Regulus are dead. That also gives credence to the theory that Subaru is not Pride due to the appearance of the Witch of Envy inside Subaru, which kind of implies that Subaru has the Envy witch factor. So if you haven't seen my Subaru is not Pride video, that's a little plug-in right there. So as Subaru kills these archbishops and becomes more and more complete, he will eventually become a whole human. And if you don't believe me, look at this question and answer from the author himself. What's interesting is that the author then goes on to say that if you were to take in every single witch factor or witch gene, that Subaru would become an entity containing all desires. In other words, Subaru becomes human. So this is what Tappei means. So as Subaru gains the witch factors inside the Shadow Garden, Subaru will become more human. As Subaru becomes more human, he'll be able to interact with Satella. However, there's one final twist Subaru does get involved in. It's the idea that when you take in a witch gene, you can get taken over by the host of the gene. So I believe that's how the ending of ReZero is going to go. It's going to be Subaru collecting the witch genes, and then right at the end he's going to have a battle, an internal battle with himself and the other archbishops inside him. And maybe even Satella, we don't know. Sirius actually does confirm this, because the reason why she doesn't actually fight Subaru is because she realizes Beetlejuice is inside him and he will eventually take over Subaru one day. This also makes sense in Pride If, because in Pride If, Subaru gains all witch factors, and when he dies permanently, he's fully complete. And he sees a shadowy figure, and he's able to go up to it and embrace the shadows. Because now he's a full human, he's gotten all witch factors, he is complete. Anyways, that's my theory on Satella's Shadow Garden, and how the ending of the series will pan out. I know I didn't include Pandora or Flugel or any of that, but I don't believe that they're going to be in the ending. Anyway, this is going to be my ending screen. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe as it helps me out. And I'll see you guys next time, and I'll put links to my other videos on the side.